God, it's so good. So good. So good and tasty.
It's tear time.
I'm seeing that hoe out the water. I'm seeing it came out the lake. Look at these diamonds, they water.
Good morning. Welcome back to another video. Today, I'm gonna show you how to easy make a PLAYBOI CARTI type of beat. Now, if you're watching this, you probably heard this album, I Am Music, and I'm not gonna lie, I got mixed feelings about it. Had some good songs and had some songs that I didn't really like for real, but what do you guys think? Is that album good, mid, buns? Let me know in the comments. But yeah, we're gonna get straight into it. Let's get it. So the vibe that we're going for is more of like a dark and turnt type of beat. That's kind of been hit, like a lot of it sounds recently, dark and turnt, evil, or whatever you want to call it. So we're gonna go for that. So first thing that I went was to expand, and I'm not gonna lie, the poly synths on here are definitely nice for getting that dark vibe. So we got the thin steel line, and we laid out very like the most simplest chord that you can ever think of, right? Just a minor chord, and this is what it sounds like. So when it comes to making dark melodies, repetition is definitely the key, especially in a minor chord, because minor usually sounds darker than major chords. You're looking at this and probably thinking that, hold on, it's not even a minor chord, but literally it's just an F minor chord, just inverted. And then having these little stops in here too can create a little bit of a pull back out and come back in type of effect. Also, what I did was I went to the channel pitch and I just barely pitched it up as it got to the end of the chord to give it a more uneasy feeling, because it's like kind of and then coming back down. So try to listen for it again. Just some that slight can definitely make a difference in how dark it's sounding. But for that, just the EQ to cut out some of the lows and some of the highs. Now we go on layer, which I love to do that for almost all my kinds of melodies and beats. So we go to expand again, and this time we grab a organ on a Caribbean organ, and like I said, we copy the exact same pattern with the minor chords, and yeah, that's what it sounds like. I think the thing too with Carti beats is to experiment with different sounds, because a lot of the sounds that I heard in the melodies on this album were definitely unique and some that I probably wouldn't have thought of, for me. But I think that this organ definitely adds a texture to it that just sounds different from, a regular beat. Because from my opinion, I don't really hear synths like this playing with organs, Then we got a piano, which I want to flex, so I'm not gonna flex. The pianos in there aren't bad at all. I chose the Yamaha C7 Lite and just lay down the bass note. Very simple. And then one thing too that I noticed in a lot of his songs on the album was to have vocals or vocal chops in there. So I got this vocal out of a Cymatics vocal kit, and this is what it sounds like. So I kind of chopped it up a little bit because there was some phrases in there that I didn't like, so I just repeated the first phrase over and over. And then for the second measure, I added on a gross beat. Basically, I got this infinity preset, so it's going to repeat over and over. Make sure that the hole's off, and then this is what you get. Yeah, I love that a lot. So far, here's what the first part sounds like. Alright, so that's the first part, and we're not done yet. So pretty much I got two parts to the melody. One is like where the big and heavy synths come in, which is with this, the synths and the organs. Then the second part is a part that I probably use for the verse. So first I started off with this synth out of expand. It's like a dark pad. Pretty much I wanted something that sounded kind of weird, which like I said, for PLAYBOI CARTI type beats, weird is kind of what you want to go for. So I got this blowing up preset out of expand, and lay down the same exact pattern for the melody. And that's what it sounds like. Yeah, like see, it sounds very ominous. And for that one, I don't have time. Then the EQ cut out some of the lows. And I got expand again. Like I said, like expand is definitely a fire plugin for creating lots of different kinds of vibes, especially dark and turnt vibes. I wanted like a ethnic kind of string to kind of tie it all together. So I went to the shamisen harp and expand and laid down this pattern. First, I play without halftime. Yeah, we got that. And then with halftime, so when you play with the pad, it sounds like this. Okay, so after hearing the melody, you're probably thinking that this is kind of mid. And in my opinion, I think, yeah, like it's kind of mid. But for what I do, right, is that sometimes I'll make a melody and not care that it's weird because I plan to reverse it. I say it's like an 80% success rate, not gonna lie. But yeah, so what I did was I made the melody at 160 at a pretty, you know, fast-paced BPM. And then I said, okay, I'm gonna reverse this and then slow it down and then pitch it down so it can be darker. So here's what we get after you do all that. And that's sounding a lot more like PLAYBOI CARTI. So now let's get into the drums. First thing that I started out with was a snare, and I got the snare at a Rio drum kit. So here's the pattern, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty sure that I be hearing this pattern a lot, especially in PLAYBOI CARTI type beats and also in Chicago drill kinds of beats. So yeah, here's what we get. We got that, and for the hi-hats, we have a pretty simple hi-hat pattern with just some rolls in there. They don't want to go too crazy for this part. When I made the rolls, I wanted to have the roll hit every time that the melody went quiet, because you know it's like so I want the hi-hat roll to kind of fill out that silence. Then we got some more hi-hat rolls. Pretty much I'm using it as an accent. I got it out of the same kit from Rio, and this is what the MIDI looks like. So sometimes I like to have a regular simple main hi-hat pattern and then have a complex accent under it. Then we got some simple perks in there. Got a cowbell. Got an open hat that hits on the 1. Then we got some bells, which of course you gotta add the bells. Now we get to the fun part, which is the 808. So first, I started off with a regular spins 808 because that's one bass that I heard pretty consistently throughout the album was a spins 808. At least that's what it sounded like to me. So we got this spins 808, and I just turned up the boost so it can kind of hit a little bit harder and clip a little bit. So here's the pattern that I laid out. So yeah, this definitely is a unique 808 pattern, and that's the point, because a lot of the 808 patterns, they kind of had a weird bounce to them, but it worked out pretty good. So this is what I came up with. So you can see how I have some velocity changes in there, like how it goes from quiet to loud. They add some extra bounce. I got some stutters in there, like right here, and now also right here too with the velocity. And then we have another pattern right here too, which sounds like this. just an 808. But I'm like, okay, this 808's cool, but I need something like to bring it all together. So what I'll do sometimes is I'll layer 808s. I don't know if you ever done it before, but layering 808s is definitely the new meta for real. So pretty much what you want to do is find an 808 that has like a very good high end that you like. So I found this right here. I love how it sounds like distorted in the high end. So what I did was I added on first a wider. So I wanted to have like a very wide and thicker sound to it. Then I got an EQ and took out a lot of the lows because you know you don't want to clash with the other 808. So when you add the 808s together, you get this. Yeah, it definitely adds a whole new element to the beat. Then we got a kick to make it hit harder, just like in Good Credit. One thing that I noticed was some counter snares hitting. It was like, and I'm not gonna lie, like that thing, it was very loud. It kind of felt like it was unmixed or mixed improperly. I don't know, it's probably just me, but yeah. So I added something like that to my beat, and here's what we get. So I mentioned Good Credit, and I saw how they had like the little bit of a dude talking in the beginning. He was saying like, "Hey, get credit," like that dude right there. So I say, okay, you know what? I want to add like a random clip off YouTube into the intro. So pretty much you probably heard in the intro of this beat, but I added this right here.
Oh God, you're so good.
So yeah, I added that. And then I want to have something hitting in the background for the actual beat. So I took the little, I took that. And what I did was that I got some Echo Boy on a lo-fi jump preset. It's gonna be like, like doing that, right? We got that, and a wider to make it sound wider, some reverb with some ROM, and an EQ to make it sound more filtered. So when you play it with the drums, you get this. I don't know, but that it just hits very hard when that kick come in, so that's why I like it a lot. So that's the beat right there. And if you're wondering how I added in the vocals, pretty much what I did was that I went to Spotify and I just screen recorded the song playing, and then I turned that into an MP4. Then I went to MP4 to MP3 converter. Then I dragged it into MP3. Then I went to the top left corner and I did extract stems from sample, chose the vocals, and that's how I got the vocals from the song. So the full thing, get this. Before I play the beat, make sure that you leave a like, comment, subscribe, follow my socials at TLarine. Let me know what you want to see next, and peace out.
Oh God, you're so good. So good. So good and tasty.
It's tear time.